Have a dripping shower head, inconsistent water temperature, a stiff handle, or in my case, no hot water? Well, if you have a single-handed Moen bath fixture, your likely culprit is a Moen shower cartridge. While this is definitely a DIY project that you can save hundreds of dollars, the Moen cartridges can be a real pain in the butt to remove. We'll go ahead and demonstrate the issue here. As you can see, turning on the water, you're able to see cold water flow below, but when you extend that lever to the hot, all of a sudden the water stops. So that is a sign of a bad Moen cartridge when the hot water completely stops or the cold water stops, but the other one works. Also, the handle is pretty hard to turn. First, start removal by taking off the handle. In this particular model, there's 2 points, 2 screws, using an Allen wrench head on the bottom. With that removed, you can now take your screwdriver and unscrew this screw that allows you to move this black cap, which then is followed by this white clip. From here, you take your 2 long screws off for the base protective plate. That wobbles right off. With that removed, you can now take out the white plastic clip and then this metal clip. From there, remove this top brass metal piece and now attach your cartridge puller. This is done by lining up the front to each other, then tightening this outside screw, then taking a large wrench and tightening clockwise a couple turns. This will eventually bottom out and hit all sides, and then from there you're going to want to wiggle it back and forth with your hand while pulling to try to gain separation by pulling the cartridge out. For us, we're able to pull it about a half a centimeter. As you can see already at this point, there's a little bit of a gap, and from here we just continued to twist back and forth and pull really hard. And let's just say we pulled really hard for a long time. At some point it started to hurt so bad that we would get a washcloth and wrap it around the handle of the puller so it wasn't as painful to pull on. I'm currently 240 pounds with a fair amount of muscle, a lot of fat, but I can definitely pull really hard, and you know, we'll save you from watching 10 minutes of me pulling this. I cut out already a bit, but you'll see just back and forth pulling, grabbing, pulling, and it just took forever, but it did eventually come out thanks to the puller. Did it work? Yes. Was it enjoyable or a good experience? Absolutely not. Going to be working on a follow-up video here shortly, talking about a lot of the research I've done to make the next cartridge that I have to remove a much better experience, including a new product I'm excited to try out. Pay attention and stay tuned to the channel for that follow-up video. But for here, you can kind of see this process unfold in real time. Here I am pulling it. You can see at this point it's maybe 3 centimeters out. At this point, you know, I'm really using the puller as just something to allow me to grab onto the puller or onto the cartridge and continue to yank out. By going back and forth, twisting, that really kind of rips at these black rubber pieces, which you'll see here shortly when I'm able to successfully get it out of the valve body. But that squishiness, that rubber, is really what at this point is keeping it in and holding it in. Here you can see I'm getting a little bit further out. This is the main black gasket. I would say that's the last kind of seal going in, or the first seal coming out. So I've definitely worked through that. That is no longer being a roadblock. Now I'm really just dealing with those 2 last rubber side pieces, which again you'll see here shortly. Once we're able to fully pull this out, you'll be able to see those pieces. At this point, we've broken free from all of the water buildup, mineral deposits that have built up, the hard water. You know, that really isn't what's causing the issue now. What is really the biggest problem are these rubber side pieces that are kind of pinching on the valve housing, as well as kind of folding over and really I'm having to kind of muscle through this. Some options that I've been able to find online say that you can take a blowtorch and melt these out. Seems like a pretty extreme measure. There's some other options is potentially running really hot water before doing this. Also possibly getting a hair dryer, blowing really hot air on the side of the valve body, the brass fitting that's inside the wall there. There's some different kind of features you can do. And then last but not least, the product I'm kind of excited to try for the next time around is an Moen Puller, and it's a much better design than this Moen Cartridge Puller that I use in this video. But it has some really good reviews, but this video, unfortunately I didn't have that device in time, so we didn't test that out. But you'll kind of see that this inferior cartridge puller does work. As you can see, I'm kind of getting it further and further. Just continuing to pull and pull, and man, my arms and body were pretty sore the next day. But I could tell that the valve housing itself was very well secured inside of the wall. As I was pulling, I could kind of see that ultimately whoever did install this plumbing did it really securely, and so I didn't feel fearful that I was going to be doing damage by pulling as hard as I was. And ultimately, my instincts paid off, because in fact the brass valve body that you see kind of at the top of this hole did not move at all, ever, at any point. It just was really securely fastened in there. So again, we'll continue to watch paint dry here, aka Moen Cartridge being pulled out by hand. But it does eventually happen here, I promise. This isn't a rickroll. I'm not baiting you into some failed attempt here. We are eventually going to get to that here shortly. I'll probably go ahead and speed up this next little bit so you don't have to endure any more pain here. But okay, we're getting close, I promise. We're just a few seconds away. Pulling out. And here we go. All right, time to celebrate. Okay, I feel pretty good about not leaving any chunks left over in the pipes. As you can see, this is pretty much fully there. This one is the one that got stuck. And if you piece it together, there's a little missing piece there, little piece there. So it's those two pieces. I put my finger down into the pipe, couldn't really feel anything else. I'm not worried about pieces coming out. I think we got it all. Okay, the HC is right there. The flathead is up. Couldn't get this one to go in very well, so jiggled this to the right a little bit, pushed it back in, and then put in the one that came with the kit. Shot past and was sticking out too far, so I had to like poke it back up and get it. This is only going to go on when this is just at the right level. Okay, we connected everything and turned the water back on. Let's go ahead and do a test. Get the air out of the system. So there we go, fixed it. $37. As mentioned earlier, we've linked all the items in the video description below. Which, by the way, if you click on one of those links and buy something, shortly after I might get a small kickback at no cost to you. Also, there's a way to help small creators like myself via the super thanks button below the video. And lastly, it wouldn't be a video from the internet if I didn't ask you to hit the subscribe button. At least my pleading was at the end of the video, so you didn't have to sit through that before getting the information you came for. Regardless of what you may or may not do, I appreciate your time.